So just by the numbers, in 1992, Worcester donated 5,000 wreaths that were placed at Arlington. In 2006, after the photo was publicized, there were simultaneous wreath-laying ceremonies at over 150 locations in the country. In 2008, 100,000 wreaths at over 300 locations in every state, Puerto Rico, and 24 overseas cemeteries. In 2011, there were 325,000 wreaths at 750 locations. And last year, 1,565,000 wreaths at nearly 1,440 locations in the U.S. and beyond. It's quite amazing. And the Wreaths Across America network of volunteers includes fundraising groups, corporate contributions, and donations of trucking, shipping, and thousands of helping hands. It's a nonprofit 501c3 organization and receives no government funding. The annual pilgrimage from Harrington, Maine to Arlington National Cemetery has become the world's largest veterans parade, and it stops at schools, monuments, veterans' homes, and communities all along the way to remind people how important it is to remember our fallen U.S. veterans, honor those who currently serve, and teach your children the value of freedom. And as Beth said, I'm also a member of the Sam Houston chapter of DAR. And over the years, our chapter has hosted several events at Fairview. And when we realized that Fairview was not a participating Wreaths Across America location, we requested and approved approval from the cemetery board. And so we have registered Fairview, and we've set up a fundraising group, and we will host the first wreath-laying ceremony on Saturday, December 15th, at 11 a.m. Central Time, which coincides with the ceremony at Arlington Cemetery. And we need volunteers. We need funds to purchase 111 wreaths, one for each hero buried at Fairview. The wreaths cost $15. I have donations and volunteer sign-up forms in the back, so I hope you'll see us. The ceremony is open to the public, so please spread the news, and I hope to see all of you on Saturday, December 15th, 11 a.m. at Fairview Cemetery as we remember, honor, and teach. Thank you, Commander.
We'll fix that problem. All right, at this time, I would like to introduce Sergeant Ivan P. Hammond, United States Marine Corps. He is today our guest speaker for today's event. And if you'll bear with me just a minute, I would like to read his bio. Ivan P. Hammond was born on August the 12th, 1925 on a 40-acre farm near a small town in Louisiana. He used to shoot squirrels for food with his .22 caliber rifle when he was 8 years old. He taught himself to assemble radio kits by age 12 and graduated high school in Morrow, Louisiana at the age of 16. In September 1942, Ivan attended the Army Signal Corps Radio School in San Antonio, Texas. Constructing radios and transmitters, he completed 3 phases of the program while simultaneously studying math and theory at the University of Texas. In August of '43, he turned 18 and was booted out of the program because he was not enlisted in the Army Signal Corps Reserve. The next phase would have been radar school in Pittsburgh. Mr. Hammond then moved to Houston. Knowing that he would be drafted, he decided to enlist in the Marine Corps on October the 26th, 1943. He reported to MCRD San Diego, California, and after graduating in January 1944, he was sent to the Naval Radio School at Texas A&M University. Ivan, along with 8 other Marines, were selected to receive follow-on training in the aviation field at Camp Miramar, California. After only 9 days in camp, they were picked up in a truck and deposited in front of the 5th Joint Assault Signal Company, also known as JASCO, and Camp Pendleton. These units were used to coordinate air, artillery, and naval gunfire support between the Marines, Army, and Navy during the Pacific Island hopping campaign. Sergeant Hamill was then assigned to the Air Liaison Party, number 13, attached to 3rd Battalion, 28th Marines. At 19 years old, Sergeant Hamill was deployed to Iwo Jima. His team was in charge of calling in the air request to support air control SAR network. During his 36 days on Iwo Jima, Sergeant Hammond and his team called in multiple airstrikes. ALP number 13 called in one airstrike on the base of Hot Rocks late on D-Day. ALP number 13 called in 2 airstrikes on D+1, of which one is depicted in a photograph showing Tail End Charlie dropping bombs on the machine gun nest at the base of Mount Suribachi. On D+2, ALP number 13 called in a 40-plane airstrike on the crater of Suribachi using napalm. Upon his return to Big Island in Hawaii, Sergeant Hammond trained for Operation Olympic, which would be the U.S. invasion, correct me if I'm wrong, sir, I don't speak Japanese. Kyushu, scheduled for November 1945. The operation never took place because Japan surrendered in August of 45. Sergeant Hammond participated in the occupation of Japan and was honorably discharged from the Marine Corps on May 16, 1946. In 1951, Ivan graduated from the University of Houston with a degree in electrical engineering. Since then, he has had an extensive career in the engineering field, having worked for Union Carbide for over 35 years. He also worked as an electrical consultant for 10 years and a developer for commercial buildings and custom homes for over 30 years. He is now retired. Ivan Hammond is married to the former Eileen Bartosh, his wife of over 62 years. They have 5 children, 10 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. At this time, I would like to turn the floor over to Sergeant Hammond.
Preston, we're going to dim the lights, so if y'all need to move around, look real careful.
Photo of Iwo Jima. It's 5 miles long, or as long as the Texas City Dikes, by the way, from here all the way up. Now this is Mount Suribachi down here at 560 feet high, and this is Green Beach about right here, and then the other this is really that's about right here. Anyway, we had 3 divisions there at Iwo Jima. We had the 5th Division came in and took this, and our job was to take Suribachi and then go on up this way and complete that side. Then the 4th Division came in right down here, and then went on the east side. We had the 3rd Division there, and it had three regiments. All divisions have 3 regiments, but they held out the 1 regiment, and later on we found out that the general would not release it. We could have used them probably to finish it, and the 3rd Battalion, it came in 5 days later, and it took the center and went this way with it. And so that's now the beginning for us. We've got, they fed us at 3 o'clock in the morning, steak and eggs for breakfast. And of course, that was the last meal a lot of the guys got. But at any rate, we was out there spinning around in our boats. And the 1st Battalion, 28th, was the lead regiment to go in on Green Beach. And its job was to go across the island. There's about 700 yards there. And to get across that island as fast as they could get, as quick as it could. Now, that outfit, there was a lieutenant named Frank Wright that made it over there in 90 minutes. Now, they took out 9 pillboxes on the way across. Of course, they had to leave a bunch of them. There were so many. And then the 2nd Battalion, 28, then came in and hooked around and waited here, where they realized they didn't have anybody to fit in the middle. And we were out there spinning around, and they said, "You're not going in today, y'all are going in tomorrow." Well, tomorrow came about 10:30 that day. We started for the shore. Now, one little sidelight I'll tell you about. Our boat went in front of the battleship Texas was sitting out there shooting, firing. And we went right in front of it, and it says kaboom with those 12-inch guns they had. And I could not hear for 30 minutes. Well, I had 30 minutes, and finally, when I got to shore, I was able to hear again. And anyway, then we took up that day though. When we landed at 12:30 on Green Beach, and we had a radio jeep and a trailer that was in a Higgins boat. The Higgins boat came in and dropped us off, and it. Excuse me for a moment. Anyway, it landed and dropped the ramp to the Higgins boat, and the driver, a guy by the name of Trumper, you had to move the radio jeep up 1 foot. You couldn't hook it up ahead of time. You had to hook it up. And then he got it hooked up, and he ran the front wheels off into the sand, and it buried itself in the sand. Now the rear wheels, he got the thing off somehow, and there it is. And now the trailer, our trailer is on the ramp of that boat. The boat can't get loose to go get out of there. And so there was the shells started coming in, and that's when my guardian angel was there, right on the beach. And I know he swatted them away from us, because one of them come down and about 8 feet from us. And it just said a little plop and went up about 200 feet, that first one did. And I've been sitting here all these many years, and I finally figured out exactly, what happened.